Hi, everyone. I'm chuckling at myself right now. I'm curious, like I said in the last episode, I'm curious why we have a propensity as a species to judge ourselves so harshly. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm 100% sure that my dog never gets up in the morning, takes a look at herself and says, "Oh my God, I can't go out looking like this." But we've all done that, haven't we? One of the things that my students in the Confident Healer get to do the first month in is work with judgment. We have an exercise called the Day of Non-Judgement. And this is where they put a date on their calendar that is going to be their day of non-judgment. They observe how they feel as they get close to that date. I've watched some students move the date 2 or 3 times, always finding a reason not to do it just yet. But when they do get to that date, the idea is to spend the entire day observing when you judge yourself or others, how you judge yourself or others, and how it feels to become aware of all of those judgments. Now, we're not just looking at a judgment as possibly a negative thought towards oneself or somebody else, because there can be positive judgments as well. If I see somebody walking down the street and they're wearing a beautiful outfit and I think to myself, wow, that person looks stunning, that's a judgment. That's equally a judgment as if I saw somebody walking down the street in a dark brown 1970s orange and brown leisure suit, where I might think, oh, interesting choice of clothing for today. It's also a judgment. Now, judgment is a really powerful word, and there's a lot of energy around that word because it has a connotation of the law. A judge is somebody who determines the outcome of a situation, of a trial, of the accused. There's a lot of heaviness there. And we as a species can be very judgmental about other people, other cultures, ideas, belief systems. And this is where the whole judgment and curiosity thing works together. So in the previous magic, mystery, and medicine episode, I talked about curiosity, and I promised you we would talk about judgment in the next one. Well, here we are. Because the thing about judgment is if you don't get curious about what you're judging and how you're judging it, you may never have the opportunity to change by questioning the relationship that you have with yourself, actually. Because so many of our limiting beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, are coming from judgment. Our judgments can be really good clues to what our limiting beliefs are. And then you may ask, well, why do we want to get rid of our limiting beliefs, or why do we even want to know what they are? Well, maybe you don't. That's fine. But if you do, it's because you want to, well, number of things. You want to have a better relationship with yourself. You want to get out of your way from that experience of success or happiness or joy or love that we talked about in the last episode. The judgment and the curiosity go hand in hand for this. So what happens after the day of non-judgment is always really interesting. It's the observations that most people have when they do this is that A, they didn't realize how judgy they were. They didn't realize how much of that judgment was being put towards themselves. And this is the whole thing about this exercise. You're not to judge yourself for being judgy. The idea is to step back and simply observe from a place of curiosity. Okay, why am I commenting in my mind about that person's brown and orange leisure suit? What business is it of mine that they're wearing that? Why is that triggering something in me? Why do I feel like I have a right to comment? There's lots of different things that you can get curious about when you recognize when you're being judgmental. And ultimately, the judging that we do of others is really a reflection of ourselves, isn't it? And this is where the whole 90-10 rule comes in. And I have another video on the 90-10 rule. I'll give you the link for that down below, in which I talk about how it is that 90% of the time, no one is actually thinking about you. Just feel that for a moment. All the time you spend worrying what other people might be thinking about you, it turns out that they're not actually thinking about you. They're thinking about all the people who they think are thinking about them. It's a lot of energy, isn't it? 10% of the time, yeah, maybe they are thinking about you. But why would you assume that they're thinking something negative about you? What if they're thinking, wow, I love that brown and orange leisure suit. I wish I had one of my own. Where did they get that brown and orange leisure suit? Or whatever it happens to be. I invite you to practice letting it go, this worry about what other people think about you, because ultimately you don't have any control over that anyways. And what somebody thinks about you isn't about you. It's about them. It's about their filters, their life experiences, their beliefs. It's about where they are on their path and on their journey. And maybe they're thinking something beautiful and wonderful about you. Now, call me naive, and many have, but beyond a deep desire that I have for everybody to just get along and treat each other nicely and kindly, I mean, really, how hard is that? I also want it to be easy. I want it to be easy for you to love yourself, and by virtue love everybody else, or not, but at the very least to be able to love yourself. And the best way you can do that is to step out of that judgment. So that is our episode today of Magic, Mystery, and Medicine with your host, Megan Edge. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Stay tuned. I will have more healer interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks. And this weekend, you will find us at the Intuitive Arts Festival here in Victoria, BC, at the Da Vinci Center. We'll have 2 booths set up side by side. My intuitive energy massage practitioners will be there offering IEM, and I will be there as well, talking about the heart's journey, talking about my healing products, being there to answer questions, and hang out in the beautiful, juicy energy that is the Intuitive Arts Festival. And Saturday at 2, I will be talking about intuitive development, back to basics, keeping it simple. I hope to see you there. I hope to see you out in the world. I hope.